Top of the SportsMax Zone for this Monday. Jamaica's junior athletes put on a spectacular show over the weekend with a flurry of all-time top 5 performances at the 3-day J3A's CARIFTA trials, which ended Sunday night at the National Stadium in Kingston. The 100-metre finals were contested on Saturday, with Edwin Allen taking the top 3 spots in the under-20 girls event. World under-20 champion Tina Clayton was beaten by her twin sister Tia, clocking times of 11.49 and 11.50 seconds respectively into a negative 1.5 metre per second wind. Serena Cole completed the Edwin Allen sweep, less than a step behind in 11.51. Now on the boys' side, Hubert Lawrence's DeAndre Daly secured victory, stunning the more fancied Brianna Level, running into a negative 1.6 wind. Daly sped to 10.32, with Level finishing second in 10.36. Now, on Sunday's final day, Level returned to win the 200 metres in 20.53 to improve to number 10 on the Jamaican all-time junior list. Daly did not compete in the 200 final, which saw Sandra Davison of St. Catherine ending second in 20.90. There were a slew of outstanding performances from Kingston College athletes. Ryan Campbell surprised the Roshan Clark of Camperdown in the under-20 boys 400-metre hurdles. Campbell clocking 49.52 seconds to trail only Jaheel Hyde on the all-time Jamaica junior list, while Clark's 49.85 puts him number 4 on that list. Now, the world under-20 triple jump silver medalist Jaden Hibbert, also of KC, leapt 16.56 metres to trail only James Beckford, 17.29 on the Jamaica junior list. But arguably, the finest performance of the weekend came in the under-20 girls 200 metres, when Brianna Lyston sped to 22.66 seconds, the second fastest time by a Jamaican junior to win the 200 metres.
Centre off. Brianna Lyston got up quickly in lane number 4. She already flies by Carletta Bernard and Alana Reid, her teammate, trying to go with her. Lyston leads into the straightaway. This is a tremendous performance so far from Lyston. She's well clear of her teammate Alana Reid. Brianna Lyston tearing down the home stretch at the National Stadium in 22.66. Oh, that is a stunning performance from Brianna Lyston. She becomes the second fastest Jamaican junior in history. Only Brianna Williams at 22.50 has run faster. She moves ahead of Simone Facey 22.71 and Kevona Davis 22.72. Brianna Lyston produces quite likely the performance of what has been an outstanding weekend of track and field at the CARIFTA trials in Kingston.
Of course, the outstanding Ricardo Chambers on commentary there. Here is Lyston speaking about her performance post-race.
It was a hard journey. Along the journey, I felt like quitting because the injury wasn't really getting better. I kept telling myself that probably tomorrow I'll be better, but I wasn't getting better at all. So it was a hard time. All the doctor visits and all of that. To see that I've overcome all of that, it's
Yeah, Brianna Lyston, 22.66. We are now joined by ace track and field analyst Hubert Lawrence to give even greater context to the performances that we saw on the weekend. Hubert, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. Great to have you on for the first time in a few years.
Happy New Year. Good to be here.
Let me start here, though, before we get into the context of the performances. The other Caribbean countries preparing for the CARIFTA Games would be a little unsettled by what happened in Kingston this past weekend. Remember, there's been no other medal-topping team at the CARIFTA Games since 1984, when the Bahamas topped the medals in Nassau. Since then, it's been all Jamaica. And based on what we are seeing, the signs are ominous for the challengers to Jamaica's title.
I think especially, Lance, in the under-20 division, boys and girls, 100, 200, the sprint hurdles, both boys and girls, the 4 hurdles, boys side, terrific, 49.52. The discus with those boys, Young and company, Kobe Lawrence in the shot put, outstanding in that era. Hibbert, the triple jumper, second in the world juniors last year. on that side, terrific. But I think on the girls' side, that 3 the hard way light blue strip in the 100 meters with Tia beating Tina, Lyston we just saw, that's crazy. She may be the fastest girl in Jamaica right now, including the Clayton twins. But I think the under-17s are not quite as daunting. And I think if you're from Trinidad and Tobago or Barbados or Guyana or somewhere else in the region, then maybe that's where you feel you have a chance to make something. And I think the time has long passed where the teams come to CARIFTA thinking that they're going to topple Jamaica from the top of the standings. They come now, I think, trying to take out events that they're very good at. Grenada in the javelin, always good. Trinidad and Tobago in the javelin. They come and deal with their events that they're strong at and put on a show there. So I think that's the hope for the rest of the Caribbean. But the Jamaica under-20 teams, boys and girls, very daunting indeed.
Yeah, Hubert, let's start with Brianna Lyston, who we just saw and who we just heard as well. The past couple of years, a little bit difficult for her, but now, based on what we saw over the weekend, she's showing the promise that she had, gave us the feeling that she would have delivered, from she was 12, 13 years old.
Did a big sprint double for St. Jago at champs in class 4, and has come back now in that type of shape in class 1. I put my clock on her, Lance, on the 4x4 Gibson McCook and got 52.5. So the question is, she now comes to the party at 100, 200, and 400 with the full deck of cards. She can run any event she wants at this level at 100, 200, and 400. They've done a good job at Heidel with her. She looks technically very good. And 22.66 with second place way back there. And this is March. So if you're thinking Cali, Colombia for the world under 20s this year, that's high altitude as well, just like Nairobi was last year. Maybe people are going to go crazy there. So a lot ahead for Brianna Lyston.
Yeah, sticking with the girls, the 100-meter final, we saw the reigning under-20 world champion, Clayton, losing to her twin sister, and a lot of talent there as well. Serena Cole, their teammate at Edwin Allen, less than a step behind in third spot. How impressive was that?
Very impressive. I called up Michael Dyke, who was the Edwin Allen coach, some weeks ago, and asked him, how's Tia? He said, you sure you want to talk about Tia? I said, yes. Tia, you want to be sure. But apparently, she's being pulled forward by her sister in practice. They've had a sit-down with Tia to analyze why she's sort of fallen behind. And she's put her shoulder metaphorically back to the wheel, working harder, being careful with diet, training hard and on a consistent basis. And now there's parity. So that's dangerous for everybody else, that both sisters, and apparently, Lance, they want to be Jamaica's team to the World Juniors in the 100. And so the work has been put in. And Serena Cole, I'm told, is also training with that same passion at Edwin Allen. So 3 outstanding sprinters on one team with one coach, Michael Dyke. It's fun to watch. And when you think that Lyston at 22.66 is at least as fast as all of these young ladies, then it gives Jamaica, with Karika Hill also in the final we just saw, in the mix for the 4x1, a chance to go sub 43, and the world junior record, is 42.91. So Jamaica well stocked.
And when I saw that result, the first thing I wondered is what really goes into that Edwin Allen High School, because the ladies were very, very dominant and, of course, posing a sort of threat to the rest of the opponents.
It's a quiet place, Frankfield, up in the hills. A trip to the corner shop is a trip to test your legs, going up and going down. Air clean, not too many distractions in Frankfield. And so people get to focus on school and on athletics. It's a winning program as well. So people who go to that school understand that they've got the school's rep to protect. And no one does it better than the Clayton twins.
Yeah, and now in the boys' equivalent, we had DeAndre Daly coming up trumps. Did you expect that sort of performance from him?
He has been looking really good this season. Talked to his coach. Young man had some injuries. Coach Claude Grant, Coach Dexter Lee, and Tovio Jenkins, and Ramona Burchell, and others. And he says he walks with a toe-out carriage. And when he runs, it sort of splays, and so it causes him injury difficulties. They've had to work on it this season, physio, chiropractor, and to train around it with special exercises. And every time he's run this season, his times look better and better. So the answer is expect him to run really fast, and he did it. 10.32 in the final into a 1.6 headwind. That's 10.23 if the air is still. He's looking good.
Yeah, Hubert, the Caribbean on a whole has been very potent in hurdling events, not only the sprint hurdles, but the one-lap event as well. Ryan Campbell's 49.52 in the under-20 boys 400 hurdles. How impressive was that?
Oh, it's completely nuts. Rashawn Clark, 50.31 the week before. He comes down to a big personal best. That's the tall boy in red and blue, Camperdown, to 49.85. Young Antonio Forbes, KC, 51.1, 51.11 last week. He goes 50.48, and they both are defeated by this outstanding run. This young man has had a lot of trouble, some injuries, some difficulties, and when I spoke to him on Sunday, he was almost overcome by emotion, having put the race perfectly together on the day, one of the days that count the most, the CARIFTA trials. Only Jahil Hyde has run faster than this young man at 4 hurdles as a junior, and Jahil Hyde has been to 2 Olympic semifinals and the World Championships, and this youngster might feel that in the future, starting with champs and CARIFTA, he could be on his way up to the top.
Yeah, I just want to go back quickly to the sprints though, Hubert, and levels lost to Daly in the 100, but coming back in the 200 and looking pretty awesome.
Yep, more to give. Daly is in super form, and there was a false start before the 100 started. May have thrown people off the second time, but at 200, I think Level wanted to prove that he was worthy of all the talk he's hearing about himself by and by after the 100, after losing. Here he comes off the straight, into the straightaway, comfortable. That's 3-4 meters clear at 20.52. Maybe he can go 20.40 this season.
Daly didn't contest that 200 final, though. Your thoughts on that?
He is delicate and has to be managed. The schedule is tight for CARIFTA, 3 days back-to-back running. They tried to spread it out, 100 semis one day, 100 final another day. In a big championship, you get the 100 semis and finals in the space of 2 hours. So Coach Grant is doing his best to keep that young man running healthy, which is a critical mission for them this year, for him to stay healthy.
Yeah, the TNT CARIFTA trials, Revel Webster won the 100 in TNT in a 10.52 clocking. We're not sure how far advanced his preparation is, maybe peaking for CARIFTA in April, and maybe we'll go a lot faster then. How do you anticipate the level of opposition that these Jamaicans will face at the CARIFTA Games Easter weekend in Kingston?
I think in specific events, it'll be difficult. The javelin, Jamaica not as strong in the javelin as other areas. Some of the throws, there's an issue for Jamaica in the lower age categories. That's a problem for us because we're not quite there yet. We're coming on timely. So I think the other Caribbean nations can target events in which they're strong and attack there. The overall picture, we've explained it, population and program, Jamaica has an advantage. But I think if you're not in Jamaica, if you're somewhere else and you have a strong event, pole vault, javelin, some of the jumps pretty good across the Caribbean, then they could come and challenge in those events. But the overall team picture is a very Jamaican picture.
Yeah, 2 quick stories before we leave, Hubert. The triple jump, KC's Jaden Hibbert, 16.56, second all-time Jamaican junior behind James Beckford, who was an Olympic medalist, by the way, in the long jump. The Caribbean has become stronger and stronger in the jumps in the past decade or 2. How good is this young man?
Lots of potential. Watched him on the night before, just 3rd in the long jump. Coach Jeremy DeLissa told me he might be tired, Jeremy DeLissa. And the young man looked like he came out to the triple jump, where he's the world number 2 at World Juniors last year, to prove a point, and jumped like he was all business. Didn't want to take a second loss in the same championship. James Beckford, 17.29, very, very fast, but not yet very, very fast. But he's young, he's still in class 2 in Jamaica, and will improve from season to season. So he's great potential in the jump. 16.56. He'll improve. He's got 2-3 more years in school. With that great jumping program at Kingston College, I expect him to improve.
Hubert, always great talking to you here on the SportsMax Zone, and we'll be in touch. The weeks coming up ahead of the CARIFTA Games will be intense as the athletes put their final preparations in, and of course the action will be live on the home of champions. Thanks, Hubert. We'll be in touch.
Thanks to the Max.
Yeah, Hubert Lawrence there. A lot of great action coming up in the CARIFTA Games, which will be, as we said, live on the home of champions for that Easter weekend, Friday through to Monday, well, Saturday through to Monday. And we have break time now. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.